Have you ever watched a spy movie where someone has a secret mission, and they're fully dedicated to that mission, but then they meet someone who doesn't know about the mission, and then the spy has to juggle both of those things? I feel like there's a million movies just like that. James Bond does it with a beautiful woman at least once every film. That new movie, Black Bag, is about two married spies and their secret missions. It's a hallmark of the genre at this point, and that tension between mission and emotions is the starting point for most of the plot. Oshi No Ko's first season completely subverts this notion when it comes to Aqua and his quest to find his mother's killer. Rather than there being a contest between his goals and his feelings, his secret mission tees up almost all of the major emotional points in the season. It's so seamlessly done that it feels really natural, but once I finished season 1 and simmered on it for a bit, I realized how much the show upended a core tenet of so many other films and TV shows. Let's break down how Aqua's quest facilitates his emotional story, rather than impede it. Right off the bat, Aqua takes the acting job Kana offers him because the producer had connections to his mother. He does not have any drive behind the decision other than gaining information. And yet, here we get some serious relationship building with Kana. In a normal show, I feel like Aqua would be torn between spending time with Kana and getting the evidence he needs. But here, the show just knocks out him getting the cigarette butt from the producer and then really puts in the legwork with his relationship. There's no clash between these two. Rather, the emotional aspects are just allowed to simmer. After the show airs, the producer offers Aqua info on his mom. But in return, Aqua has to go on a dating show. And of course he has to do this in order to continue his pursuit of the truth. But guess what we get through the dating show? An introduction to Akane. And as a result, we get more depth to the emotional through lines. Aqua's relationship with her is going to complicate things with Kana. This again provides a perfect place for the show to pit his emotional arc against his underlying motivations. But once more, the show lets these two have space to breathe, and the whole story of Akane and her struggles with publicity are allowed to play out unimpeded. Already we're seeing a pattern here. Rather than having Aqua's mission rear its head at inconvenient times to his personal life, it acts more as a lubricant to the emotional storylines. The pursuit of Ai's killer connects the islands of relationship building, which I think is pretty cool. It lets them coexist, and the emotional aspects get to bloom in very natural ways. To really drive home this point, when the dating show is wrapping up, Aqua's getting ready to move on from Akane and the whole experience. It's a very smooth dismount from this part of the story, but here Aqua's quest is used once again to spur on more emotional depth. When he realizes that Akane's imitation of Ai could help him uncover more about her past, Aqua decides to extend the relationship past the show, albeit in name only. This throws a huge wrench into his connection with Kana, who thinks the relationship is real. And just like that, the underlying plot of the show has given a real kick in the rear to the emotional arc. Without something like this, we would never build to the awesome reconciliation scene between Aqua and Kana after the Idol Festival, because there just wouldn't have been this conflict. And of course, to wrap it all up nicely, Aqua agreeing to do the play at the end of the season finale simultaneously furthers his ultimate goals and tees up a whole slew of romantic storylines for season 2. Gotta love it. Rather than being a disruptive force to the story, Aqua's mission time and time again prompts the most interesting aspects of the show's relationships. It's a fairly novel approach to an age-old setup, and I wanted to shout that out. I think the most impressive part is how deftly the show executes on this. It never feels forced, it just pokes its head whenever the story needs a jump start. That measured hand is the sign of a story confidently told, and it has me really excited for season 2. Speaking of, I've been waiting to watch season 2 until I finished this video, and now I finally can. So if you want to see more breakdowns like this, subscribe, because there's going to be way more to talk about. I'm SlamAnime, and I'll see you next time.